Season 3 of the PBA League is underway. 8 teams featuring the world's best Pro Bowlers, including top draft picks Jason Belmonte of the LAX, Sean Rash of the Brooklyn Styles, the Philadelphia Hitmen's Don Barrett, Wes Malott of the Pittsburgh Jackrabbits, the Dallas Strikers' Bill O'Neill, Chris Barnes of the Silver Lake Atom Splitters, the Motown Muscles' E.J. Tackett, and Pete Weber of the New York City WTT Kingpins. It's an all-or-nothing battle on the road to the Elias Cup, and it's next on ESPN.
The PBA visits the state of Maine for the first time in its history, and a fired-up Bayside Bowl in Portland is ready for the start of the 2015 PBA League. The 8 PBA League teams will meet in elimination bracket competition in pursuit of the 3rd Elias Cup. The first 2 quarterfinal matches on today's show, featuring the Brooklyn Styles and the New York City WTT Kingpins, followed by the Philadelphia Hitmen taking on the Silver Lake Atom Splitters. Today's quarterfinals featuring each of the Elias Cup winners, the inaugural winners, the New York City WTT Kingpins.
Yeah, and this team was really anchored by that man right there, Pete Weber. Late strikes really sealed the deal for his team.
The 2nd Elias Cup belongs to the Silver Lake Atom Splitters.
This team was loaded from top to bottom. Brian Smith threw a key strike late, and Chris Barnes and Tommy Jones brought the victory home.
And hello again, everyone. Mike Jakubowski with PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson. Randy, Kimberly Pressler is in that mix. The PBA League electric atmosphere and unique sitting set to go.
It really is. I mean, the excitement level is unlike anything I felt on the PBA Tour in quite some time. The PBA brings 40 of the greatest players to the state of Maine for the very first time. Throw in the mix Hall of Fame managers, and it's the perfect ingredients for great bowling. Mike J., I'm excited. I can't wait to get started.
And we've got our first quarterfinal match. Let's take a look at the lineups. Baker team competition, the Brooklyn Styles, managed by Johnny Petraglia. Leading off, Walter Ray Williams Jr., followed by Jason Sterner, Tom Smallwood, Sean Rash with Parker Bone III bowling the 5th and 10th frames. Taking on the New York City WTT Kingpins, managed by Carolyn Doran Ballard. Leading off, Amleto Monticelli, followed by DJ Archer, Scott Norton, Mike Fagan, and Pete Weber in the anchor position. Kimberly Pressler is ringside.
Thank you, Mike. Pete, you've said in the past that you really enjoy these league competitions, and other than this amazing crowd back here pumping you up, what do you like best about this event?
Well, first of all, I don't have to just rely on me. I can rely on my other 4 teammates that I just have total confidence in. As far as the fans go, I hope they're this way the whole time. This is so cool. It's electricity in here, so we want to win, and that's what we're here for.
This crowd is electric. It's pretty amazing. Now, the Kingpins won 2 years ago. They won the Elias Cup. What do you got to do today to make that happen again?
Well, we have to work as a team. When our leadoff bowler's our key. He's the one that tells us what the rest of the players need to do in that frame. So, as long as we work together and keep our heads up, we're going to be tough to beat.
All right, Pete. Thank you so much for your time. And I think this crowd wants to talk to you a little bit.
Bayside Bowl. Here's our quarterfinal format. Best of 2 games.
of Baker team competition. The team advances by winning both games. If the games are split, the match will be decided by a one-ball roll-off.
So important to choose your lineup and use strategy to do that with. And like Pete Weber just said, the leadoff bowler is so important. And who better to have leading off for your team than one of the greatest of all time from Venezuela, PBA Hall of Famer Amleto Monticelli.
Weber mentioned it, looking for someone to get the lineup started properly, and who better than this man, Amleto Monticelli. Opening shot of the PBA League. Arriba!
Well, if that doesn't get your team fired up, then, well, maybe you need to check their pulse. But here's a crowd favorite here in Portland, Maine. The great one, the greatest to ever throw a bowling ball, Walter Ray Williams Jr.
And the crowd aware of his status. Strike a piece.
Get in the pit, baby.
This is the PBA League. And DJ Archer now steps into the middle. Earned his first PBA Tour title this year, part of the New York lineup, working on the strike. Across the blue oil. And crossing over for a 6 pin.
DJ coming off of a win earlier this season, his first ever. Maybe a little nerves there. That ball looked like it stayed in his hand a long time, crossing over. This environment and this crowd will get you jacked up, and when you get a little too jacked up, well, you tend to overthrow a bit.
And sticking at the line, a missed spare for Archer in New York City.
I think that's just nerves. Yeah, a little bit of a footing issue there as that heel looked like it tried to dig in more than once. Now Jason Sterner.
Also owns a PBA Tour title. Up for Brooklyn. Just a bit wide and a 210 split.
Jason's going to try to get the ball to the left side of the 2-pin and slide it over into the 10. Now we're all even. Let's take a look at the PBA League oil pattern. 42 feet in length using the blue dye. Characteristics are high scoring, but there's so much traffic from these players. You've got players with high rev rates, with medium rev rates, players that are playing straighter, players that are playing the deep inside angle. And this is just game one, match one.
Best of two in Baker team competition. First team to win 2 games advances in the PBA League. Scott Norton, 3-time titleist, up for New York City. In the third, 4 around the 7th.
Great shot by Scott Norton. And you know, I like having the southpaws on your team. You have one southpaw, he's got the lane to himself. He's got no traffic other than what his own bowling ball creates. I kind of like what Brooklyn has done by putting Parker Bone III in that anchor position. Are you kidding me? Back-to-back single pin whiffs.
Did you stick? I stuck really bad.
Tom Smallwood up for the Brooklyn Styles. Smallwood, 2 PBA Tour titles. He's 37 out of Saginaw, Michigan. In the middle slide, he'll bowl to third in 8 frames. And he packs the pocket. Here's today's Columbia 300 fun fact. For the very first time in a televised event, the PBA using a non-traditional pair. This is lanes 6 and 7 at Bayside Bowl. So, Randy, we've got ball returns where they're not normally supposed to be.
I think it's a great idea for this competition. And a great shot by Mike Fagan. We have seen, though, throughout the years, back in the 90s, when there was a breakdown, the players had to move to an alternate lane. We saw Del Ballard Jr. do it in Sayville, Long Island in 1992. He beat Dave Ferraro, and the last to do it was Voss in 94 in Kentucky. Voss also a winner.
Looking for the first double today. And 6 around the 10 solid for Rash.
Another great pocket hit that doesn't strike. This time it's a ringing 10 for Rash. Rash was the first player picked in the draft. Are you kidding me?
Spare barrage continues.
Guys, we're not setting a very good example here in Portland, Maine when it comes to spare shooting. Four open frames. A 2-10 split in the second by Jason Sterner, and two whip 10 pins. Or excuse me, a whip 10 pin, a whip 7 pin, and a whip 6 pin. Now it's PDW's turn.
Other players, first four.
Oh,
New
no.
York, backstage. And the 1 and the 2.
Gotta let it go.
That looked like he had a little chicken grease on his thumb there. That ball came out of his hand so fast. That ball lucky to stay on the lane. Weber just leaves the 1-2. Somebody fell through the signage down lane. Hopefully they're okay. Weber resetting himself.
And we are right on top of the action. Left and right, standing room to the left of the players and bleachers to the right. As
Are you
Weber
kidding me?
doesn't clean the frame.
Not once spare yet by either team.
Wow.
Incredible. Players aren't used to this much noise, but something they better get used to quick. Another pocket hit that leaves a tap. Mike J, I got to be honest with you. I don't know if I could handle something like this much crowd noise. I think it would just get too much adrenaline flowing, get you too jacked up. I love it. I think it's different. I think it's great. The fans are great. They're standing for the first time at a PBA event. They're actually standing off lane. Oh my God!
And another missed single pin. Several factors at play, including issues with the approaches. So the first half of the game, regardless, it's even.
Some of the greatest spare shooters in the history of bowling.
Monticelli drops him down. We're all even. It's best of 2. Come on back to Bayside Bowl.
The PBA League quarterfinals are brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. By Maine Tourism. Discovering your Maine thing begins at visitmaine.com. By Barbasol. Life is full of close shaves. Make sure your close shave is a Barbasol close shave. And by the USBC, a future for the sport.
The Portland Headlight sits at the entrance into Portland Harbor, completed in 1791. It's the oldest lighthouse in the state of Maine. We need a light to show the way as far as spare conversions.
Well, DJ got it started. Then Scott Norton misses a 7 pin. Sean Rash misses a 10 pin. Weber misses the 1-2. He misses the head pin twice in one frame. Parker Bone, the third, one of the best spare shooters ever, whips the 7 pin. Single pin spare percentage conversion, general public 43%, PBA Tour players 92%.
Tournament stats courtesy of Rolltech. That does not skew today.
Yeah, no. I mean, look at the width. Those are just the spares, and this was a split by Sterner in the second.
As far as the match is concerned, it's dead even, best of two. Teams have switched lanes for the second half of our opening game. Monticelli high in the nose is 6'10".
A little too direct on this pattern. 42 feet, it looks a little flat. Looks like there's out of bounds if you get the ball too far to the right. Amuleto just inside third arrow. He wanted to be just to the right of third arrow. Now you can hear the crowd pick it up. Please.
Hall of Famer and PBA 50 Tour Rookie of the Year. Monticelli will begin senior competition in April. And a spare! The loudest cheer in history for a spare.
Never heard anybody get cheered that loudly for a 6'10" conversion.
Walter Ray up now on the other lane. He struck his first opportunity.
He loves this. The more noise, the better for Walter Ray.
The greatest of all time. And a 10-pin.
Boy, pretty good shot. Just a little soft into the pocket. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Walter Ray makes this 10-pin. All right, that's not really going out on a limb. He's going to make it. If he doesn't make it, I quit.
Bo Portland and Bo Po is all about nicknames, and this one, Deadeye, one of the greatest of all time. What a roar! The greatest of all time on the spare. Spare for Brooklyn. And an even game one, and the greatest of his time, Mark Roth, father of the modern power game, and his name is on the MVP trophy of this PBA League. DJ Angela, seventh frame. Kicks the four, Bowler's best friend. Oh! DJ with some moves.
DJ's showing some mad skills on the hardwood, and I bet he's really happy he tripped the 4-pin.
Light on his feet. More importantly, a big strike up in the seventh. And now Brooklyn back on the deck. Jason Sterner up for the Styles.
Great shot by Jason Sterner.
We're all even. Game one, best of two advances. If the teams split their games, we'll have a roll-on. Randy, each team manager talked about two important elements of this competition: team chemistry and communication.
Yeah, and the communication part of it is players coming back off of a shot and letting the other players know what the lanes are doing in terms of oil transition.
Southpaw, Scott Norton drops the rack.
We've seen Scott Norton in the team competition the last couple of years play an instrumental role in both of those facets. One, great team chemistry. Two, he throws a lot of strikes.
Brooklyn Styles managed by Johnny Petraglia, PBA Hall of Famer. 14 career PBA Tour titles and a winner in 6 different decades.
How about a PBA member for 50 years?
Smallwood, and a split, the 3, the 4, the 6, and the 7.
Smallwood leaving the 3, 4, 6, 7. He's going to try to get the bowling ball right over into here. Throw the 3-pin into the 4 and the 7. The ball will take out the 6.
Open frame for Brooklyn. They fall 24 pins behind in this best of 2 opening quarterfinal match of the PBA League.
Let's see if Mike Fagan can now set the table for New York City WTT Kingpins and the anchor bowler Pete Weber.
Foundation frame in game 1. on the double. And a 3-6-10 high on the head pin.
Trying to go really straight and direct. Gets it inside just a little bit. May have touched the holes just a little more than he wanted to. The ball's not able to hold its line. Trying to go real straight and real direct, but after it comes off the end of the oil pattern, it breaks loose and goes through the nose.
Manager Carolyn Doran-Ballard calling Fagan the silent killer for his approach on the lane. And nice cover of the 3-6-10.
Mike Fagan coming off of another major championship victory earlier this season.
Mixing strike for Brooklyn. 171 max for Brooklyn, with New York City pacing at 172.
Pete Weber with a strike and a spare here can close it out.
The teeth of the Bowl Portland community.
Well, there's some sweet redemption for PDW after his epic failure in frame 5, where he missed the head pin twice. That was a beautiful strike. Needs a spare or a strike. They win game 1.
City WTT Kingpins are on the board with the first big win. A second win will advance them in the PBA League.
The difference now?
Remember, it's win and move on, lose and go home in these best of 2 Baker game matches.
Right here.
That's 3 strikes in a row for the New York City WTT Kingpins.
I didn't think it was possible,
Why you put me
given
there,
the miserable start for both teams, but Weber finishes in classic Weber style.
Fans can try to bowl their own turkeys at select Bass Pro Shops featuring Uncle Buck's Fish Bowls. Now, Brooklyn Styles finishing up. Still something to learn because they got to win the second game to force the roll-off. So Parker Bone doubles. New York City on the board with the first win in game 1 in this PBA League quarterfinal tilt. Game 2 comes your way. Next, come on back to Bayside Bowl.
That's right.
The PBA League visiting Maine for the very first time at Bayside Bowl. Our quarterfinal match, final score in game number 1 belongs to the New York City WTT Kingpins, 182-171, and a 1-0 lead over Brooklyn. One more win will advance New York City in the PBA League. Recently, fans voted for the greatest PBA trick shots at PBA.com. And the top 4, including the great showman Andy Varapapa.
Yeah, he was the first original showman of the trick shot. Andy Varapapa, still one of the greatest ever. But this was just absolutely ridiculous.
Oscar Palermo at Thunder Bowl in Allen Park, Michigan, over the chair.
I can't stop watching that.
And into the pocket and 10 back. Chris Barnes in his interpretation of the Flying Eagle.
Yeah, this wasn't bad either.
He got it.
You could create a lot of damage if this is done incorrectly, like throwing a pin up into the deck light. But Chris covers it brilliantly.
And the trick shot voted number 4 by the fans, featuring Hall of Famer Norm Duke.
Well, I've tried this before, and it's really hard. Hard enough to keep that ball on the lane, and then you got to try to leave something for the spinning ball to cover.
That one's pretty good.
So the second ball makes the spare that the first ball left, an all-time classic, and the number 4 trick shot as voted on by the fans. We will see the number 3 trick shot in next week's PBA League show. We'll be back with game 2 of our opening quarterfinal matchup. New York City up 1-0 over Brooklyn. We'll be back with more PBA League action. PBA League, and any stop to Maine means you must have lobster. A delicacy of the Maine area. And Randy, there's lobster tails and claws, but how about the tamale or the roe?
Yeah, I'm going to leave that for you. I'll have to stick with the claws and the tail.
A delicacy any which way you slice it here in Maine. And a quarterfinal format here in the PBA League. It's a best-of-2 Baker match. It means you need to win both games, or there's a roll-off if the team split. No Walter Ray up in game 2.
7-time player of the year.
Walter Ray packs the pocket. He loves this atmosphere. Bo Portland. They call it Bopo for short. It's the attitude here at Bayside Bowl in Maine. The way they conduct their league is pretty much the way you're seeing it here today.
Well, Charlie Mitchell developed this handicap system, and this league started to grow, and it got so big, they decided to build their own bowling center around this great league they have here in Portland, Maine.
And it comes with fans in attendance, and they are here cheering on the PBA League. 3-6-10 for Amleto Monticelli.
Again, trying to go real straight, and it just takes a little bit to get that ball to go high. And when I say a little bit, an inch or two left of target, direction changes. There's not enough oil in the middle part of the lane to hold the ball off.
Open frame, another missed spare.
I'm speechless.
Jason Sterner now up for the Brooklyn Styles. As we get a look, how come that one went wide?
Too far right, didn't catch the front pin, the 3-pin.
Sterner up for the Brooklyn Styles. Manager Johnny Petraglia says Jason has the perfect blend of high with stroker timing, and he drives that rack back.
Jason Sterner's solid. He's got one of the best physical games I've ever seen. And that was just a great strike, coming off an open frame, taking advantage. His teammate Walter Ray set the table with an opening strike, and now they have a double.
Of DJ Archer, manager Carolyn Doran Ballard said, I put him on the team and I just let him do what he does, and he did it last time. DJ working on Monticelli's open frame, second frame. That's high. 3-6-10 with the 9-pin.
Yeah, well, if you thought Amleto's spare was tough, this is even harder because of that back pin, as you mentioned. You have to throw a hook ball into this spare because you need to cover that back pin. But I've seen a lot of players lately throwing the ball straight and hard at this combo.
He went straight at it, didn't get the messenger on the spare, so another open frame.
Yeah, and Brooklyn right now is in a great position to take a huge lead and even up this best-of-2 game match.
Manager Johnny Petraglia calls Tom Smallwood a calming influence. He just never seems to get upset. It's a part of Tom's makeup.
Yeah, but he's real fiery on the inside, and that's what makes him so good in the clutch.
And it's time to update the Bass Pro Shops Turkey Tracker. 3 strikes in a row for the Brooklyn Styles.
The great interaction with the awesome fans here is what makes Bayside Bowl a special place, and we've seen Tom Smallwood do a lot of this, especially in the team competition.
Big deficit for New York City, although they are a game up, and a 7th pick.
They're in trouble, and it's only in the 3rd frame, trailing by 42. They need to start stringing strikes and hope that Brooklyn doesn't just run away from them and hide.
Carolyn Doran-Ballard, manager on Scott Norton, says there's just no bringing him down, Randy. He always has a positive approach.
Yeah, he's got a lot of confidence as well.
And a spare for Norton as Bopo
Come on, guys.
lets him hear it.
God, that lane is tight. Yes!
Carolyn Doran-Ballard, manager for New York City. Sean Rash attempting to string the strikes, and no, 10 pick. Good shot, though.
Another pocket ringing 10. Still with a spare here, it's a 41-pin lead. Remember, the teams will change lanes after 5 frames.
And Rash picks up the spare, missed one earlier. Carolyn Doran-Ballard, herself a great player, Hall of Famer, 22 career pro titles. Randy, she says that she wants her personalities to mesh and hopefully check those egos at the door as far as the team.
Oh, no.
4-9 split.
Well, Carolyn's really good at managing people, and what made her so great in her career was her tenacity. She was absolutely fearless and a lot of fun to watch because she got so pumped up and so fired up.
New York City Kingpins up a game. If they lose this game, the match would be decided by a single ball roll-off with players to be determined by the managers.
Get it!
4-9 conversion! Bopo loves it! So does Carolyn Doran-Ballard. Fagan on the spare. And that earns your hammer tough spare replay.
All right, it's textbook here. Just enough of the 4-pin to slide into the 9, and Mike Fagan does it perfectly. Look at Carolyn in the background. That's what makes her so awesome.
Parker Bone, the 3rd anchor player for Brooklyn, and 7th pick.
Well, he missed one of these in the first game. Sean Rash missed a 10-pin, but he redeemed himself by making the 10-pin the last time Sean was up. Parker, you're going to make this.
Parker Bone on the spare. Brooklyn in command here. Game 2, trailing by 1. Need this game to force the roll-off to advance in the PBA League.
I heard it.
6 frames remaining for New York City, and Pete Weber,
I didn't go
player for New York,
by it.
will stand here in the 5th. Pete is all into this team concept.
Yeah, he loves it.
And a 10-pin.
I hit the pocket.
We will switch lanes, Randy, for the back half of this game 2. But first, the spare conversion attempt for Weber. And safe. New York up a game, but they trail here in game 2.
Yay!
All Brooklyn. Can they tie this and send it to roll-off? We'll find out when game 2 continues in the PBA League. Quarterfinal matchup in the PBA League. Brooklyn Styles trail by a game to the New York City WTT Kingpins, but are on the verge of forcing a roll-off. They lead in game 2 at Bayside Bowl in Portland. Time now for the Track Tech Talk.
Mike, in the history of our sport, all great players, all Hall of Famers traditionally had fast feet. Marshall Holman, Mark Roth, and Hall of Famer Amleto Monticelli is no different. Folks, take a page out of Hall of Famers and their notebook. get your feet moving, you're going to throw a lot more strikes.
Footwork of the great Amleto Monticelli. Back half of game 2 of our PBA League quarterfinal matchup. Brooklyn Styles in command must have this game to force a roll-off to advance in the PBA League. Walter Ray Williams Jr. up in the 6th frame for the Brooklyn Styles. Teams have switched lanes, so Walter Ray now on the left lane here. Walter Ray packs the pocket.
I don't think Walter Ray has missed the pocket. Right now, if you're part of the team that goes by the name of New York City WTT Kingpins, the only thing you're thinking about right now is striking this game out to have any chance.
Now Monticelli up in the 6th for New York City. Light hit, 2-pin.
That was a really good shot that just didn't grab enough of the lane to get back to the pocket. I promise you, Amleto, he really liked this one off of his hand. Another thing that Amleto does, besides the fast footwork, is he drifts left. And you'll see that most of your great players, especially today, generally speaking, they all walk or drift to the left.
Spare from Monticelli and New York City WTT Kingpins. They trail here in game 2 by 44, but they're up a game. Brooklyn looking to shut the door, and you already start to think about who might be in that roll-off.
The Kingpins haven't thrown a strike yet in this match, or excuse me, in this game. Brooklyn Styles are clean through 6, and I think that's a great point, Mikey. Now all of a sudden, the manager starts to think about, all right, who am I going to have in the roll-off? You know, if you look at Brooklyn, you can make a case for just about everybody on their team.
Johnny Petraglia mentioning that when you have Parker Bone on your team, I'm going to pick him when I need him to strike on a final shot, so we'll see if that is the choice. DJ Archer first in the 7th frame. Max 214 for New York City here. DJ 6 around the 10.
Still looking for the first strike. And right now, Carolyn Doran-Ballard, she's watching ball motion and ball reaction from her players because she's got to come up with a name to throw her one strike to win this. This is going to go to a roll-off.
Bowling fans, head to PBA.com to enter the PBA Clean Sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize pack courtesy of Barbasol. Simply click on the Clean Sweep link at PBA.com for more information and register for your chance to win. 8th frame for Brooklyn. Strike for the Brooklyn Strikers. Update the Bass Pro Shops Turkey Tracker. 3 strikes in a row for Brooklyn. Brooklyn in command, Randy, and now roll-off is more than a possibility.
Yeah, it's going to happen. They're down by 65 with 3 frames to go. They're going to a roll-off. It's now all about who's going to throw that shot for the Kingpins.
Do you pencil in the Hall of Famers? PDW and Amleto on the New York side, Parker Bone and Walter Ray Williams Jr. on the Brooklyn side.
Southpaw's looking good if you're a Kingpin. Rash has got a good look to the pocket, but all he does is leave corner pins. I mean, if you were to ask me and I was the coach of the Kingpins, who I would put in that position right now to throw one shot for my team, I know it's awfully hard to go against Pete Weber. But I think Scott Norton's got the best look to the pocket.
Rash converts the 10-pin.
Good at that.
That's the 9th and 10th being bowled in anticipation of the roll-off. And the roll-off will decide. Manager already thinking ahead as we surmised.
Remember, if they tie in the roll-off, that first player ties, or those first two players tie, then it goes down the list. So Carolyn right now trying to compile another lineup for the roll-off.
So I did.
She's got to put her strongest players at the top.
It's the first three.
Manager's choice to cycle through the lineup as far as the roll-off is concerned does not need to be the order with which the players are competing right now. So now finishing up in the 9th frame for New York City, Fagan. Still playing the strike line.
He was just throwing a strike ball.
Carolyn looking for information. Big decision as far as the roll-off coming up. Now a preview, will it be Parker Bone? He'll have this 10th frame to experiment. Johnny Petraglia thinking, which way do I go?
Hard decision for Johnny because all of his players have proven that they can hit the pocket.
Walter Ray hasn't missed, and Parker Bone light strike.
So do you start with Parker? Do you start with Walter Ray if you're Johnny Petraglia? I'll tell you what, I'd have them 1-2, that's for sure.
And the managers, as you mentioned, might be thinking too deep in that lineup.
Well, yeah, and I think my third spot probably goes to Jason Sterner. I mean, it's such a hard pick. And the only reason why Sean Rash isn't in the mix is because he can't carry.
The Brooklyn Styles have evened this match at 1-1. We're going to fast track through the 10th frame, finish up the score, and then we will commence with the roll-off. So fast track to the finish. And Carolyn Doran Ballard for New York City and Johnny Petraglia for Brooklyn have the big decisions to make as far as who fills the roll-off. Winner advances in the PBA League. Our second quarterfinal match is coming up today as well. Philadelphia Hitmen take on the Silver Lake Atom Splitters. But first, a matter of who advances.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Decision time.
If you're on the Kingpins bench, you can't be feeling real good about this. I mean, it's a 99-pin
Parker,
blowout.
Walter, Sean, Ewan, and Tommy. Okay? Yeah.
No, I just asked me to change the lineup. I just thought I am.
Both managers going through their lineups for the roll-off. It's a single ball sudden death roll-off. In the event of a tie, the managers would cycle through their lineups. In the event all 5 players tie, we would repeat the process until there's a winner.
Is that cowbell I hear? We need more cowbell, Mike.
Now we need fortitude, guts, and a great picture of the lane. Doran Ballard has gone with Weber. Roll off to advance in the PBA League.
Got a hook. Oh, man. That's what makes Weber so amazing. He can get the ball back from spots on the lane and nobody else can.
Manager Johnny Petraglia signed Parker Bone III 25 years ago, and he said, I will pick him when you need a strike on the final shot, and Johnny has done that. And Parker has the match in his left hand, a strike, and his Brooklyn Strikers advance.
Weber made a great shot. Tough. Oil pattern. This guy's been money his entire career.
For the win! Yeah! Brooklyn advances!
Pure pitch. One of the greatest ever right there, Parker Bone III. What a great shot.
Brooklyn advances in the PBA League. Coming up next, more quarterfinals, Philadelphia versus Silver Lake here at Bayside Bowl.
The PBA League quarterfinals are brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. By AMF, roll this way. By HotelPlanner.com, the best place to book hotel rooms. Best rooms, best rate, guaranteed. And by Barbasol. Life is full of close shaves. Make sure your close shave is a Barbasol close shave.
First PBA visited Maine, and the first match produces a great moment. And Parker Bone III delivers the winning stroke and advances Brooklyn on the roll-off. Time now for the PBA Team Challenge, featuring a PBA League squad in a head-to-head battle with an amateur team from Bayside Bowl's Full Portland League. The PBA Team Challenge as LOS from the BOPO League here in Bull Portland getting set to face the LAX. 5 players per team, 1 shot through the lineup. Higher pinfall in each frame wins a point. Most points wins. If there's a tie after 5 frames, we'll have a roll-off. And Kimberly Pressler is laneside.
Thank you, guys. I am laneside with Kathleen Nugget. Now, Kathleen, they like to call you Nugget. They were just chanting your name. Do you think you can beat these pro guys today?
I think we're going to have a lot of fun today. This is a great opportunity for Maine, for Bayside Bowl, and yeah, we're definitely going to beat them.
I like that confidence. Well, let's get to bowling then.
Thank you.
LOS, and that stands for Living on a Spare Team Huddle.
3, 1, 2, 3.
LAX! And the LAX getting set here, our first PBA Team Challenge. 1 ball to determine the winner in the frame. Leading off for LOS, Mr. Stiffy is Spike Einsiedler. And a 9 count.
Wow. Really good start. Great shot. Leaves a flat 10. See if Martin Larson can strike to win frame number 1.
Martin Larson for the LAX. Strike to win the frame, 9 to have it. Anything less than LOS puts a point on the board.
Oh!
And the first frame goes to LOS.
Oh, my.
Now here's Nugget, Kathleen Nugent, 2014 BOPO Rookie of the Year. They color Nugget. Crossing over, 8 count.
Not bad, not bad. Patrick Allen going to try to get 9 or better to tie this up.
PA urging the crowd on. Allen from the left side, and a 9 count. Squeaks one out. Tied at a frame apiece.
A little fortunate there.
Adam Libby steps up for LOS. They call him Nuber One, 2-time BOPO League champion. Looking to break the tie. Nuber. 7. And a wiggle.
I think Andres is going to get more than 7. Great environment, great action, great competition. Andres Gomez from Bogota, Colombia steps up looking for 8 or better.
Smooth stroking Colombian. Packs the pocket, 2-1 for LAX.
A little in your face.
Kerry Robillard is precious. Converted a 6-7 split in the 2014 semis to save that season. 7 counts. Going up against Beef Stew Stewart Williams. Williams with an 8 count or better can secure the victory for LAX.
And they're not booing, they're saying stew.
Winner for LAX.
Stu Williams, the party crasher.
I'll make a bet with you, all right? Just between me and you. If you beat me, you can have my ball, all right?
Side action for the anchor players. Chris Ogden, double cheese and a side bet for Belmonte's ball as the crowd doubles the double cheese. 2014 BOPO men's singles champion toes the line in the anchor position for LOS. Oh! Trips a big 4-pin. Game face.
You think he wants Belmonte's bowling ball? I say yes.
Belmo must strike or double cheese his bragging rights in the anchor position. LAX has already secured the win.
They shut the lights off on him.
Chris Ogden secures the side bet. And Moonlight Bowling closes as Chris Ogden picks up a very
I'm going to have to need that again.
souvenir.
You can have it at the end, all right?
LAX the victory. Ogden with a special souvenir in our PBA Team Challenge. Belmonte in silhouette, and the LAX prevail in the Team Bowling Challenge. Coming up next, quarterfinal action featuring the Philadelphia Hitmen and the Silver Lake Atom Splitters here at the PBA League at Bayside Bowl. The PBA League rolls on at Bayside Bowl. We're in Portland, Maine. Quarterfinal number 2 coming up. Randy, you're all over the place.
Wow, that takes Fathead to a whole nother level.
That's a beautiful pose. Philadelphia Hitmen lineup managed by Jason Couch, leading off Ryan Schaefer. Chris Loschetter bowls in the 2nd and 7th. Dave Wadka. Dom Barrett and Rhino Page back end of the lineup for Mark Baker's Silver Lake Atom Splitters. Leading off, Mika Koivuniemi, Chris Barnes, Craig Nidifer. Tom Doherty bowls the 4th and the 9th, and Dick Allen owns the anchor frames. Kimberly Pressler is laneside with Chris Barnes.
Thank you, Mark. So, Chris, the Atom Splitters are the defending champions. Why is Mika and then you leading off?
It's a lot of the same strategy we used last year, where we use the guys that actually hook it a little bit less at the top. So when we move to the other lane and there's so much traffic, we don't have to guess as much. They don't want us having to chase Doherty and Nidifer, and so we're going to be able to play, hopefully, guess a little better, get a better start, and then we'll just keep making the lanes easier for our guys that like to get in and hook it more.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Best of 2 games using the Baker scoring system. In the event teams tie those 2 games, we'll have a roll-off as we did earlier in our quarterfinal matchups. The Bowl Portland community supporting this PBA League in this unique setting and unique environment. And Randy, these players will have to very quickly assimilate with all of the action happening. Ryan Schaefer on top for the Philadelphia Hitmen. Light and a 2-4-10.
Well, obviously you want to get off to a really good start, but so much adrenaline, so many emotions running through the players early on. Not to mention a pretty challenging oil pattern.
42 feet, dressed in blue today at Bayside Bowl. Just missed. Open frame for Philadelphia.
Well, that was pretty close, too.
We got you. Dig in.
Just catches a little bit too much of the 2-pin. And it's an open frame early for the Hitmen.
Mika Koivuniemi leading off. Randy, what do you think about the strategy of the straighter players leading off?
I like it.
Why?
I like it because the straighter players can stay a little bit farther right. They can burn up a little bit more of a spot. That only helps the players that like to hook it, like Nidifer, like Tom Doherty, and like Dick Allen. it also helps Meek and Barnes do what they do, go a little bit straighter. You get a little bit better read this way.
Spare on the board for the Silver Lake Atom Splitters, the defending Elias Cup champions here in the PBA League. Barnes, the only remaining player, Randy, is a complete redraft, opening the PBA League season for this year.
Yeah, the only two mainstays were Barnes and manager Mark Baker.
Chris Loschetter up for the Philadelphia Hitmen after the open frame, and he backs the pocket. Loschetter strikes.
Great shot by Chris Loschetter.
Come on, Blue! That's so bad? Huh? That's so bad? Yeah.
Just a beautiful shot as he rolls his hand up the back of the bowling ball and makes it dig in.
Chris Barnes up for Silver Lake. 18 tour titles in his illustrious PBA Tour career, and Barnes delivers the hammer.
Anytime you're going straighter, it's always a good idea.
Up, guy. There's your assist.
To keep your hand up the back of the bowling ball, and nobody's better at that than Chris Barnes.
Dave Wonka now up for Philadelphia. He's got standing room only crowd to his left. He's got bleacher, standing room, and sitting room only to the right, and he delivers his shot. Just a touch high, 4-pin.
There's that kind of in-between zone where a little bit left, the ball goes high, a little bit right, it goes light. In our first match, we saw the players struggle with that. It was perfect angles and the right amount of ball speed and rotation. And another single pin spare missed.
2 out of 3 open frames for the Philadelphia Hitmen.
Yeah.
Randy, what is going on with the spares?
I think the players are just overly pumped, too jacked up because of the atmosphere in the crowd.
National debut for Craig Nidifer. Nidifer has made a name for himself at the World Series of Bowling. He's yet to earn a PBA Tour title, but Craig Nidifer among the talented young up-and-coming players on this tour.
You just saw Craig Nidifer come back and shake his hands out like, oh, man, I was really nervous on that shot. So that's what this environment has created. And the first couple of shots for these players is tough. The players are used to bowling in an atmosphere where there's no sound until after they let go of it.
First pitch off the hand on television, tough for anybody in any circumstance, but in this circumstance, a special setting here at the PBA League. Fans left and right. Dom Barrett up for Philadelphia. 3 PBA Tour titles. Fourth frame, tempo.
Really good pitch there by Dom Barrett. He's sporting the facial fescue for the Hitmen. Not sure anybody else on their team can actually grow facial hair.
No goatee on Jason Couch. Barrett does clean up the spare. I don't know if a goatee would work on Jason.
No, absolutely not. There's no way Jason Couch can sport a goatee.
He's got that prominent chin. It could go with a little adornment.
Listen, that's like putting a goatee on Jay Leno.
Tom Doherty up for Silver Lake. Unique style of Doherty, high in the pocket, but 4-pin remains.
Tell you what, this guy's been bowling really, really good the last couple of years and bowling all over the world. Tom Doherty, that unique style with no thumb, the delayed push, man, does he roll it good. And an excellent spare shooter.
Up and at him. Mark Baker, manager for Silver Lake, Randy, calls Tom Doherty the most improved player in the last 2 years on this tour.
I agree with that. I think Tom's really come a long way, and you know, he was so gracious in that defeat to Mika Koivuniemi when he bowled 100, and then came back the next season and won his first title. And Tom's been he's been on a great run ever since.
Rhino Page back in competitive form for the Philadelphia Hitmen, and that one is wide, a washout, super wash.
Rhino Page fresh off of his runner-up finish at this year's Tournament of Champions. And we heard Scott Norton say how tight this left lane was, but when it came time to throw in a strike for the wheat, Parker Bone stepped up on that side of the lane and did it perfectly.
Super wash conversion and Bo erupts. Bo Portland.
Manager Couch out there firing up the troops. What a great shot.
Your Barbasol close shave of the day and the super washout conversion.
4-pin went to the sidewall, kicks the 7 out perfectly for Rhino Page.
Tommy Jones, rather Dick Allen for Silver Lake.
And a good starting or opening shot, I should say, for Dick Allen. You can see how much deeper he's playing than Mika and Chris Barnes. But a nice opening shot. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot that gets to Dick Allen either. Kind of got that moxie of not a lot of emotion.
Dick Allen converts the spare. Silver Lake is down early in this best of 2. They trail in game 1. And Philly in command. More of our quarterfinal matchup when we return to Bayside Bowl in the PBA League. Bayside Bowl in Portland, Maine. First trip ever to the PBA in Maine. Beautiful countryside here, including the Shawnee Peaks Ski Resort. Snow on the ground here in April. Randy, you find some time to hit the slopes?
No. I haven't hit the slopes in quite some time, Mike J.
Oh, I'd love to see the skiing, Randy.
Last time I skied was at the base of Mount Fuji about 12 years ago.
A picture postcard if ever there was one. Action continuing in the quarterfinal matchup, opening game between Philadelphia and Silver Lake. Ryan Schaefer, 6th frame for Philadelphia. They trail by 26, and a light hit yields double wood, 2 in the 8. Manager of the Philadelphia Hitmen, Jason Couch, 16 career PBA Tour titles, only player ever to win 3 consecutive Tournament of Champions.
Member of PBA and USBC Hall of Fame. Jason, just under $2 million in career earnings. One of the great ones, and a good friend of mine. We'll find out how he is as a manager.
Very interesting chatting with Jason yesterday. He's got a pretty versatile lineup. He can ask any one of his players to toss it in the 10th if need be. And Jason mentioning that no negativity on his team. He's got players that mesh well together in an easygoing way.
Right now, they better figure out a way to throw some strikes because they're down by 28. Mika Koivuniemi steps up on the left lane here for the Atom Splitters.
Light hit, double wood with the 10-pin.
Not what you want to see managing this team. Mark Baker stands up, a little bit of a concerned look. 2-8-10 is one tough rascal. It's kind of like trying to read a Russian newspaper upside down. Not real easy to convert.
Down goes the 2-8-10. Koivuniemi converts, and Bopo loves it.
Try, baby, try.
That's how you make it.
I've made this once in my life.
Stoic Finn? Not.
Wow.
What a great shot at a spare conversion for Silver Lake. Chris Loschetter, winner at last year's Summersweary. And he'll toe the line here in the 7th. Oh! Checks the 7 out. Shaker strike, 4, low shift.
Strike, need it. Max score of 210 for the Hitmen. Adam Splitters right now are going at 195.
Chris Barnes, you noticed, checking his left shoulder, that last little bit of communication before his shot.
Right now he's trying to get into the rhythm with the crowd.
Between 3rd and 4th there. Oh, pure hit for Barnes.
That was a great shot. What a great shot. Super rolled that one and just came out of his hand. About as clean and as pretty as you can imagine. That's a great touch.
Silver Lake on top by 25. Each team on a strike. Now Wonka can cut into that lead for Philadelphia. 8 frame. Game 1 of the best of 2. Strike.
Needed it in a big way. Dave Wonka steps up brilliantly and throws a great shot right there to double up for the first time for the Hitmen.
Jason Couch calls Dave Wonka the savvy veteran. And Wonka coming up big there with the double in the 7th and the 8th. Craig Nidifer now working on a strike. He finished 5th at the PBA Cheetah Championship, a breakout player at the World Series of Bowling. Power player, breaks up the 4-9, just enough.
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot about this young man. Craig Nidifer is a really good player. And he's been chasing it all over the world as well. It's just a matter of time before Craig Nidifer breaks out and wins one out on our tour. Just a good, solid player.
Mark Baker talking about looking for players that are not afraid to strike. How could you not be afraid to strike?
It's all about the Maple Moxie, bro. It's all about the intestinal fortitude. It's what you got right here. Some players got it, some players don't. Can't teach it.
This guy's got it. Dom Barrett bowling in the 4th and 9th in this game 1 of this best of 2 here in the PBA League quarterfinals. Foundation frame.
Oh, no!
Tough break on the 7th.
Man, did they need that. And a great shot and a horrible break. Looked like it was the head pin that just went up and over it.
Barrett cleans up the spare.
It's a rotten break. They're in trouble. They need an open frame from the Adam Splitters to get back in this.
Tom Doherty finished 3rd at the recent Players Championship. The 2015 PBA Tour team competition here at the PBA League. Mixing 7.
Oh, man. Hard to believe you put that much stuff on a bowling ball and it hits the 1-3 and it doesn't carry that shaker 7 pin, but not a bad shot. You heard Tom say he threw it just a pinch hard, but overall, everything that's going on, players only getting basically 2 frames to bowl per game. Pretty good shot. I told you, he's a good spare shooter.
I just threw it too hard, Ricky. I think it's
So
fine.
far in this match, we've had the super washout made by Rhino Page, and we had the 2-8-10 made by Mika Koivuniemi. This is still coming down to the 10th frame. Rhino Page can double in the 10th and force the Adam Splitters to mark. He would force Dick Allen to get any kind of mark, but he needs 2 in the 10th right here.
Messenger, yes! 7 goes down! Energy from the crowd transferring to the players, transferring on this head pin into the 7th.
He gives it the Mutombo finger. For those NBA fans out there.
No, no, no. Connor doesn't like the feel. Backs on. Last 2 strikes would get 189 for Philadelphia. Jason Couch looking for as many pins as possible to have Silver Lake perform in the 10th. You liked it. No, 7th pin.
Wasn't that bad. Just a little soft going through the pins, leaving that flat 7. Atom splitters now just need, all they need is good count.
$179 for the Philadelphia Hitmen in this best of 2.
8 pins here for Dick Allen on the first ball, and they're going to win game 1.
Whoa! That was 2A10 territory, but just the 2, and win for the Atom Splitters. 1-0 in this best of 2, forcing Philly to win the next game to get a roll-off. Mika Koivuniemi with the improbable spare. More action coming next. Brooklyn has already advanced Silver Lake up 1-0 in their best of 2 quarterfinal. The winner would face Brooklyn in the semifinals. Elias Cup Finals, April 19th, 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Time for the Ebonite flashback. Mark Baker and his first career PBA Tour title. He qualified 3rd and won 3 matches on the way to victory in the '84 Miller High Life Classic, defeating Ricky Sajek, Joe Salvemini, and Hookin' Bob Handley.
All right, Mark Baker.
I bowled against Mark Baker when I was a junior bowler, competed against him on the tour, and Mark was a very imposing, intimidating guy, especially in the night blocks. When the lanes opened up, he used his power, and he just smoked everybody. This guy did win the George Young High Average Award winner, or the award one time.
Mark Baker, the leader of the Silver Lake Atom Splitters, and they lead this best of 2, 1-0, looking to advance to face Brooklyn. Game 2 of our best of 2 is next at Bayside Bowl. The PBA League is in session at Bayside Bowl in Portland, Maine. Quarterfinal action between the Philadelphia Hitmen and the Silver Lake Atom Splitters. Silver Lake up 1-0 in this best of 2. And the best of Bowl Portland, BOPO for short. Surrounding our players left and right. Action continuing. Mika Koivuniemi high in the pocket, 4 pin.
Strategy paid off well for Mark Baker and his team, putting the players at the top of the order that actually throw the ball a little bit straighter, a little bit more forward, end over end roll, but less revolutions, less power. And I think that strategy is paid off well thus far, obviously, but when you think about it, a little less traffic, a little less jet wash from the high rev players, if you will. So it makes it life a little bit easier for Mika and Chris Barnes.
Jason Couch speaking very highly of the versatility of Ryan Schaefer, probably why he's at the top of the order. Pats that pocket, and a little Schaefer shuffle.
Now that's what they need to get back in this. A good start by Ryan Schaefer, gets up and throws just a beautiful shot there. It's 10 in the pit. He needs to ignite his team and get them back in this.
Barnes behind Koivuniemi, second frame. So we're looking to go 2-0 in advance. Pocket hit, 10 pin.
Mark Baker, not only the manager of the Atom Splitters, he's also a coach to many players out on tour, one of them being Chris Barnes.
Baker says about Barnes, Chris is intense in everything. He's got one swing at life, and he's taken it. Good cover.
And Chris is very comfortable in this environment. He likes this. He has plenty of television time and tons of international experience, team experience.
Every conceivable venue and crowd situation,
Absolutely.
and it's unique here. And Chris Loschetter now up for Philadelphia, trying to build upon the strength that Schaefer gave him. High off his hand, 3-6-10.
I want to send a shout out and congrats to Chris's wife, Erin. Chris and Erin expecting parents for the first time in just a couple of months.
Congratulations to Chris and Erin Loschetter. Good cover on that 3-6-10. Philadelphia trying to win this game and force a roll-off. We saw the roll-off earlier as Brooklyn extinguished New York City WTT Kingpins from the PBA League. Now Craig Niederfer out of the Michigan area, and he has spent a lot of time. Mark Baker said Niederfer's knocked down a lot of pins all over the world.
Real good friends with Kurt Pelon, PBA champion. But Craig Niederfer can bowl. Don't kid yourself.
Strike on the board for the Adam Splitters.
You know, Mark Baker's a pretty savvy guy. You don't think he's going to pick Craig Niederfer if Niederfer doesn't have it. This kid's got it. Mark Baker did a great job of assembling a sick team last year. Obviously, they won, and he's done a pretty good job this year putting together another strong team.
Watka for Billy Light, 2-pin.
Jason Couch looking concerned. They're in trouble. Not consistently getting to the pocket. Even though they're tied to 3.
Okay, come on.
Just
Come on,
looking
let's
at
go.
ball reaction down lane, what your players are doing.
Key shot here for Doherty. Any one-game match, team or singles, that first double always very important, and Doherty can double up.
Right, but again, going back and looking at ball reaction, Mika went just a little bit high left to 4-pin. Barnes leaves a 10-pin. Then you got a strike up, and now Tom Doherty.
2-8-10 split.
Well, he was firm on the left lane.
Yes.
In game 1. Mika's wanting to get up to shoot the 2-8-10 for Tom, but you know what? Mika showed Tom, hey, this can be made.
Doherty, great spare shooter, as you alluded to, Randy, and not only that, but he's a great split converter. We've seen that, and in fact, in his title, we saw it at the World Series of Bowling. Gives it a run there, open frame for Silver Lake. They're up a game, but they trail by 12 here early in game 2. Best of 2 in the event the team split. There would be a roll-off, as we saw earlier, with Brooklyn advancing.
This is how you get back in it now. Don Barrett, Rhino Page stepping up for the Hitmen and looking to take a big lead at the halfway point of this second game.
Strike for Barrett. Jason Couch mentioning that Don Barrett, he's got the personality that gets along well with everyone. It's just he's a good teammate, according to Jason.
Well, Dom's just basically one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's a good guy, and everybody out here on tour likes him.
Dick Allen, a part of the crew that Mark Baker put together. Mark put together a group of people that also like to have some fun. Dick Allen among those that love to have fun. Light, that's another 2-8-10, just the 2 and the 10.
Pretty much the same result.
Too deep. Yeah, it's too deep. Yeah.
That Tom Doherty came away with in the 4th frame. Big difference, obviously, the 8-pin's not standing for Dick Allen. And you heard him tell
I'm gonna try.
manager Mark Baker, just too deep. Just probably overthought it and moved way too far left.
Gave it a run, open frame. And now the momentum swings over to Philadelphia as Rhino Page now steps up with a chance to double for his Philadelphia Hitmen. Philadelphia needs this game 2 to force the roll-off. Asked Jason to describe Rhino Page, he had one word: heart. Page, 5th frame. Drops the rock, drops the rack, doubles up for Philly. Philadelphia, momentum swinging their way. They need this game 2 to force a roll-off for a chance to advance to the PBA League. The rest of our quarterfinal match when we return to Bayside Bowl. PBA Hall of Famer Mark Roth, for whom the Mark Roth MVP of the PBA League is named the father of the modern power game.
Yeah, one of the greatest ever. Boy, was he fun to watch.
And we will see who the Mark Roth MVP trophy will be awarded to at the conclusion of the PBA League. First, the conclusion of this quarterfinal matchup. Silver Lake momentum not going their way, but they have switched lanes. Mika Koivuniemi, he drops a strike. This crowd is into the PBA League. The Bowl Portland Community, BOPO for short. That's the way they compete their leagues here. So the PBA League is following in their tradition. Mika says, I can't hear you.
This is an important shot, not only because the Hitmen are on a double, but Ryan Schaefer can come back with some really good information for his other teammates.
Schaefer drops the rack.
That was huge.
Update, the best Pro Shops Turkey Tracker. That's 3 strikes in a row for the Philadelphia Hitmen.
Well, he's got that unique role, and sometimes that can create some just amazing pin carry when you hit the pins light. That's exactly what happened for Ryan Schaefer.
Momentum for Philly. Now Silver Lake up. Barnes working with a strike, 7th frame, game 2.
Look out.
Cross it, 6-10.
Wrong side of that spot there.
Brooklyn defeating New York City, our initial Elias Cup champion, and Silver Lake, if they were to lose, they would won the Elias Cup last year. Would have to lose this game and lose the roll-off to be eliminated, but that is a possibility at this point. Barnes cleans up the spare, and once again, Randy, late in game 2, you got to start to think about who's going to throw that roll-off.
Yeah, well, it's starting to look like we're going to a roll-off, but we're still a ways away. Chris Lowshetter, well, he can really make a statement for the Hitmen right here with a strike.
4-bagger, Lowshetter for Philly. Momentum all on Philly's side.
All right, so I think we're going to go to a roll-off. Now, same dilemma for manager Jason Couch and manager Mark Baker. What lineup? Who starts first?
Greg Nidifer, 8th frame for Silver Lake. Very athletic and very upright when he gets through the ball.
He just gets a handful at the bottom. Hands in a beautiful spot when he goes to let go, and then he just snaps that wrist open. But I love the way he gets that hand open at the top, and then look at that wrist roll up underneath the ball, and then it's just a super clean release as the thumb and the fingers come out of that bowling ball. Lots of rotation and revolutions.
5-bagger for Philly. Wadka getting Bopo out of their seats. And again, we're going to have a 9th and 10th frame thinking about a roll-off. The winner will advance to face the Brooklyn the Brooklyn Styles in our semifinal. Mark Baker thinking ahead.
Max score for the Atom Splitters, 206. The Hitmen are already in the 230s. Nice shot by Tom Doherty.
I went to the stronger ball.
You're up again. You heard him say he went to a stronger ball. There was much more down lane reaction.
But I still tried to throw it slower.
That information going to Dick Allen, who will be their anchor bowler in the 10th. Right now, it's Tom Barrett. He can pretty much just close the door on game 2 here with a strike.
Messenger, down goes the 10.
That makes up for that solid 7 in game 1. Watch this. Headpin, sidewall, ringing 10 Messenger. Gotta love it. We are going to a roll-off, folks. Question is, who is it going to involve?
Update. The Bass Pro Shops Turkey Tracker. 3 strikes in a row for the Silver Lake Atom Splitters.
First in the roll-off.
You go first roll-off?
In the roll-off, yeah.
You get a look at the players standing behind Dick Allen. Not one player for either team sitting down right now.
You're up again. You're right there. All right? Where did you, big man?
The match will be tied. This game is decided. We'll fast track the 10th frame and move our way into the roll-off scenario. The roll-off will feature the 5 players on the team if it goes that far.
Ever in your life?
And we will find out who would be first in the roll-off coming up after we finish our 10th frame. Philly will even it up at 1-1 in this best of 2, and we will conclude with a roll-off to determine who moves on to face the Brooklyn Styles. So Philly finishing off with a big string of strikes to get the back rest here and go 260 plus. .265 and tied at 1.
I'd imagine. I hope.
Best of 2 is tied at 1. We'll move into the roll-off. And here are the roll-off rules. Team managers each select 1 player who will throw 1 shot on the team's finishing lane. Higher pinfall wins. If they tie, we'll move down the roster list. If all 5 would tie, we'd move into the same rotation. Single ball, sudden death to eliminate the other team in advance in the PBA League. And it comes down to a roll-off.
You're going to chase at 1, or what are you doing?
More cowbell. We need more cowbell.
Here we go, roll-off to advance in the PBA League and join the Brooklyn Styles in a semifinal matchup. Rhino Page earns the nod for the Philadelphia Hitmen.
Oh, no.
High, 8 count.
Just kind of yacked on it, downswing. Richie Allen needs 9 or better. And the Hitmen will be eliminated. Look at that deep breath and exhale that Dick Allen just
Mark Baker electing for Dick Allen to anchor and throw the money ball for the win. 9 or better. Silver Lake advances to the PBA League semifinal.
Yeah! I know you're up there second guessing me. Why some talking, some play, baby. Yeah.
Mark Baker thinks I'm second guessing him. I think he's a genius.
We talked to him yesterday, and he said he would go with Dick Allen. And Dick Allen drops the rock that advances the Elias Cup defending champions in the PBA League.
The PBA League quarterfinals are brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. By Maine Tourism. Discovering your Maine thing begins at visitmaine.com. By HotelPlanner.com. The best place to book hotel rooms. Best rooms, best rate, guaranteed. And by AMF. Roll this way.
The 2015 PBA League bracket update. Brooklyn and the defending Elias Cup champions, the Silver Lake Atom Splitters, advance to the PBA League semifinals. It's time for the Geico Championship recap. Randy.
Thanks, Mike. Match number one, game number one. Pete Weber needs a strike spare to lock up the match. He gets a double. But this match would end up in a roll-off. And once again, the Kingpins look to Pete Weber. A really good shot, but he leaves the shaker 7-pin. Now for the Brooklyn Styles, it's all about getting some Parker Bone to third. Brooklyn Styles eliminate the Kingpins. Then in the match you just saw, Philadelphia Hitmen, Silver Lake, Atom Splitters, Chris Barnes throwing lots of strikes in game number one. But this also would come down to a roll-off. Rhino Page pulls it, goes through the nose, gets 8. Dick Allen needs 9, gets 9. They advance to the semifinals. Now let's go down to the floor in Kimberly Pressler.
Dick, it all came back to you. All the weight was on your shoulders in order to keep the defending champions, your team, in this. So what was going through your mind during that roll-off?
Don't barf all over myself. I mean, just really make good shots. Stay slow. Do the things you practice. Anytime Barnes and Baker and Mika, want to put the weight on your shoulders, they're showing belief in you, and it's nothing but confidence when those guys do that. So the main thing is just to get up there and be yourself and bowl your own game.
Let's talk a little bit about this atmosphere. It's been pretty crazy. Has it been good for you guys?
Well, I'm used to it at home, with the two girls at home. This is what I hear all day, music and yelling and screaming all day. So I was kind of used to it, to be honest with you, but it's an unbelievable atmosphere. So much fun. I can't thank these people enough. I mean, I just want to keep on bowling now.
All right, well, congratulations and good luck to you against Brooklyn.
Thank you.
Two teams have advanced to the semifinals, and we'll have two more quarterfinal matches coming up next Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. The Pittsburgh Jackrabbits face the Dallas Strikers, and the Detroit Motown Muscle get the LAX next Sunday on ESPN. The PBA's first ever visit to Maine produced two exciting quarterfinals and two exciting roll-offs, producing two winners moving on to the semifinals. Brooklyn advances with Silver Lake. For Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler, this is Mike Jakubowski. We hope you've enjoyed coverage of the PBA League from Portland, Maine. More PBA League action next Sunday on ESPN.